Belli, let's go. Today we are talking about bans. So yesterday, March 31st, the ban from Wizard of the Coast came out finally, and we'll see what has been shaken up in terms of the format and which is going to remain the same. So I'm going to talk mostly, we're going to see all of them, but the format I play at the moment are Standard, Pioneer. I know a little bit of Modern, and I play Pauper. So these are the format I know. I don't know Legacy, I don't play the other stuff, so let's just look at it. So the big card that everyone is talking about is Underworld Breach, and in Modern, of course, but also something in Standard people want to change. So let's first see what Wizard have done, and then we are going to talk a little bit about it. So Standard, no changes. So no Monstrous Rage ban, so no Up the Beanstalk banned. Everything is going to stay the same. And maybe I'm alone here. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's true that the free cards here, the free cards that are the free type of decks, so the red aggros, the Bean Domain Overlord decks, plus the Dimir Esper Bounce Pixie with this town is big enough are half of the meta at the moment. The last Pro Tour at least show that. But for me that I try a lot of different decks, I don't feel the other decks are much behind. Furthermore, allowing you to play like strong card like Engine, like Bean, allow you to create wacky deck without losing too much power. For example, when we try the Caves deck with the Cosmic Confluence, right? So this engine allows you to experiment also, having a strong base. The same goes for the Pixie This Town Ain't Big Enough. So if you have an idea to build something with other ETB effect, you can rely on this strong engine. And the Monstrous Rage, it's true, it's complicated to play against and makes really frustrating to block, but fast deck keeps the meta on check. So I feel, so maybe Monstrous Rage has, it's a bit skew, but I feel that the deck is still functioning within reason, and there are plenty of way to beat it. And yeah, so no changes. Is coming. Tarkir Dragonstorm is upon us. Is coming out in a couple of weeks, 10 days, and so we'll see if anything will get changed. The only issue I have with this polarized aggro versus more controlly matchup is always the mid-range fun deal, right? Because we are going to have a lot of free color cool dragon to try to cast, and if you need to be sure to don't die fast, but then don't have enough card advantage to sustain a longer game against the domain deck, you're going to be positioned in such a way which is not, in Italian we say né carne né pesce, nor fish or meat. So you are in between, and yeah, that's the only issue. But on the other hand, I think the meta is cool. It's going to be there's going to be rotation anyway after Tarkir plus Final Fantasy. So a lot of stuff is coming out. Leyline Banning is coming out and stuff like that. So I think it was alright. Pioneer. No changes. Oh, we went a bit further with Modern. No changes in Pioneer as well. So no one is playing Pioneer at the moment, so it doesn't affect me very much. The Arena Championship 8 was last weekend, so I think they already knew, but they used that as a check tool, and I think that if decks that were mostly standard based, like the mono red that dominate the event, if it's good a standard deck, I feel the the meta is it's okay. I mean, it means that there are no broken combo and stuff. So if it's good for standard, why it cannot be good for Pioneer? So that's my reasoning. But without any competitive events this year, I think Pioneer is going to be pushed to next year and see if Wizard is going to do anything. But so it's a bit stale at the moment, but there is not much interest right now in the format. So let's move on and go to Modern. Underworld Breach is banned, so this is not a surprise, right? Because Thermon Grinding Breach was the breach of the format, was really too good, too consistent. It was one of the strongest deck we've seen so far, and the ban was announced, and I'm sure everyone that is playing Modern, both online and on paper, is going to not be shocked from one end, and from the other one release, because the deck was so strong. I don't play much, but I watch a lot of Modern online, and for my understanding, the problem is not that there weren't a way to counter it, but that you have to invest so much sideboard to counter it. So there was really like a very skew meta in the form of pre-sideboard versus post-sideboard matchup. So really pain. Mox Opal was, everyone thought that was going to be making like Affinity good again, but then the Breach combo came out and made everything a bit too asphyxiating for the format, right? So moving on, we are going to have a lot of events that are going to shape the future of Modern. I'm a bit worried, without being the greatest player of Modern of all time, but just for my understanding, the Boros energy looks very strong now, right? Because if it doesn't have to involve a lot of sideboard to counter Temur Breach, is going to have a lot of slot for the other matchup, and also the Eldrazi one that was the worst, I think, for the Boros one, because you have to go on top of the Boros energy deck, right? And it doesn't. So now you don't have to invest so many cards of the sideboard in that, so it's going to be even stronger, right? But I'm excited to re-enter the format, maybe even on paper. The Holo 1 deck with Marauding Mako has new life, and that was always one of my favorite deck to play, and it's not even too expensive considering Modern, so I think I'm going to try to build that and maybe play a little bit of Modern in the next month if I have the opportunity. So Underworld Breach is banned. We're going to see if Boros is going to dominate the meta. In the chat I'm in, already everyone is looking for Boros energy cards to buy, so maybe that's already a tell, but let's see. Unfortunately, I'm not a player of Legacy. I don't have. I never played as well as Vintage, but so I don't really know. I only know that Reanimate is really good. So I guess Troll of Khazad Doom is banned because of that reason. And yeah, the card is probably really good in the archetype. You can have 6/5 Super Menace on turn 2 and not even losing the card, since you cycle it for a land, so it's going to fix also your mana, and I guess that's just crazy good, right? In a format that is so consistent and so optimized as Legacy is. And so we microspawn, I guess, for the Eldrazi Tron kind of decks there, but I'm really not a player of this format, so I'm going to stop here before saying like stupid things. So Legacy, Sowing Microspawn, and Troll of Khazad Doom are banned. Vintage, no changes, and whatever, like I don't have Mox to use. And Pauper I'm interested, because Deadly Dispute for sure is going to be on the chopping block. It was clear also for the Paupergeddon, like 7 of the 8 top 8 decks have 4 copies of Deadly Dispute, so I'm sure this is going to be banned because the engine that they dispute plus Iconi was Spring or however it's called is really too good. You too much draw, and it became a reason to play black even if you don't want to play black. So it's not only that the deck is so strong, the card is so strong, it's that flat out the meta, right? Everyone is playing the same cards, and that's not fun for a tournament and for an LT meta. So I'm sure we're going to see Deadly Dispute before we see Basking Blue Scale, because of course Basking Blue Scale, Kuldrock, Rebirth, Deadly Dispute. Let's see all the three of them. So yeah, because then when there are some unbanned to talk about. But these one are the three big, and I'm a bit surprised about the Kuldrock Rebirth. So of course it's going to hit red, and the Kuldrock Rebirth, it's really like as much as the Grateful Demolition in standard with the Convoke deck is really it's really tough. Especially here, it's even more hard to deal with this deck when it gets on turn 2 Kuldrock Rebirth and then or turn 3 Kuldrock Rebirth plus the Bushwhack, because the lack of sweepers in the former, right? You have some, but not that many. And the burn spell in Pauper are even more efficient than in standard. So then you do like a burst of damage, like 12, 13. Then let's say that like you resolve it with some kind of -2/-2 to all the creatures, but then you are stuck at 6 life and 2 bolts are going to finish the job, right? So it's really it's again a situation where you have a pre-sideboard and post-sideboard type of experience, I feel, with Mono Red. We played recently a small tournament we organized, and it happened for me to play with this kind of deck, and I was lucky enough to have to win the roll dice, so I was able to win the first match, and then I went from there. So it's really dice dependent, I feel. So maybe with the ban of the Kuldrock Rebirth, this is going to change. And the Basting Brute Scale, of course, the Glee combo is not the most powerful thing that you can do, and you could see that on the Pauper Geddon. I mean, it was good, but was not any like meta bender. But again, I feel at least when I play against it, it's not a fun matchup. And also when I build my deck, I have to keep this in mind that people can combo me on turn 3, and that's not a fun proposition in otherwise such a grindy and let's say resource intensive format as Pauper can be. So we need a fast deck on Pauper, otherwise we're going to play like a 45 minutes game every time with 2 gardens deck that are going to stare each other forever. But the Brute Scale was something that it was fast, but not in a fun way. And I think the Kuldrock Rebirth ban will allow to have like a fun, fast matchup, and also maybe because you don't have to focus anymore so much on the red, you're going to have a post-cyborg more fair match, because the other problem with the mono red was that you really feel like that you're going to lose a match if you are a mono red player and you are on the draw and you are post sideboard. You really feel that you're going to lose it, right? Or the other player is going to mulligan aggressive to find his 8-piece, and then you don't have just enough to sustain your game, right? So okay, and of course the dispute was on the chopping block as much as Underworld Breach was on the chopping block on Modern, even if for 2 different reasons, right? So this is not the dispute is not a surprise. Brute Scale half and half, I would say, but I'm glad that that deck won't exist anymore. And Kuldrock Rebirth, it's a surprise for me. I didn't expect it. I'm curious to see next time I'm going to play Pauper how this will affect the meta I'm playing at least in. So my friends here in Piedmont, right? So, but then big news. So Prophetic Prism is unbanned, and that's I guess a good news for fixing your mana in that Tron style deck that everyone loves and hates to play. But the big news for me is I Tide. I Tide, I feel it's a super powerful card, mana advantage card. So I guess there are like the good cards like Frantic Research and no, I don't know, Peregrine Drake are banned in the format. So you want to be able to combo that easily, but I Tide in a mono blue or in a highly island based deck is going to give you 4, 5, 6 ritual mana, which in the format I feel it's really a lot. I'm not such a good cooker to imagine a deck already, but I'm sure that like people better than me, stronger than me, are going to figure it out, and that's I think the most interesting card of the ban so far. So yeah, super curious to see how I Tide is going to affect the meta, and I feel it's going to affect the meta. So yeah, that's really a surprise for me, but I'm sure Gaming and the other like tested and know what they are doing. So Pauper is the format that got the most, right? So I feel the Pauper player are going to be mostly happy. Maybe not my friends that play mono red, but because they didn't expect it as well, I think. Let me know if you guys expect it, but I didn't. And anyway, it's going to be fun to play La Lega, or I'm going to the event next time that I can to just see how the meta is shaped, because it's going to feel fresh. I'm sure it's going to feel really fresh, and I'm sure that like already some people are going to bring some I Tide decks, so it's going to be fun to see that in action. Anyway, so I think that's it. Alchemy no changes, Explorer no changes, Historian no changes, Timeless no changes, Brawl no changes. So next announcement is going to be June 30. It's okay. It's going to be it for today. So no change for standard. It means that like the deck that I prepared, like and I wasn't able to register yesterday, I can still play. It's going to be Prowess. It's a deck with Monstrous Rage in it, so look out for it. And big changes in Pauper, Underworld Breach is banned, and so we'll see how the modern meta is going to be affected. So people who bought Death Rise Shaman for 15 euros are going to be a bit disappointed, I feel, but I guess that's life. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for listening to my rant. I get you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.